So I am here with Steve Moore. He is known as the Mad Drummer, that crazy drummer that is a YouTube sensation. Steve, you are really cool. I was actually introduced to you by Don Bennett and Woodstick, and I think that's great because I went to your YouTube and I saw Every Girl's Crazy About a Sharp-Dressed Man, and you were back there, you were having fun wailing on those drums. And tell me a little bit about your life since you just put that video up and then to now.
Well, actually, I didn't actually upload the video. A fan had just shot it, and then it had actually been online for almost 2 years. And then someone retitled it, This Drummer's at the Wrong Gig, and then it absolutely exploded.
Really?
So things are great now. The biggest thing for me, to be honest with you, and I've said this hundreds of times, but it's honestly the truth, the biggest thing for me is now I actually have a bridge to all these famous drummers that I've always looked up to. I mean, I'm sitting beside Thomas Pridgen, for goodness sakes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I would have never thought of that 5 months ago. 5 months ago, it would have been nice to get an email from Thomas Pridgen. That would have but to be sitting beside him, it's huge.
That's cool.
I mean, it really
That's
is.
great.
You know, so to be a player and then actually get respect, you know, from guys like like Frankie and Ryan and Marco Minimum and Thomas Lang.
Right.
I mean, blah, blah,
and
blah.
Alan.
And Alan. I mean, just on and on and on. I mean, it's really that's a huge
Who was your
deal.
favorite drummer when you were growing up?
One of my favorites, actually, his name is Shannon Larkin. He actually he's played with Godsmack for several years, but prior to that, he used to be in a band called Rothschild. And I saw him when I was about 16 years old, and he melted me. I mean, I couldn't even understand what he did, let alone how he pulled it off. And that was sort of the nucleus of a lot of what I do. You know, it wasn't really so much copying Shannon verbatim as much as it was trying to remember what he did.
Right.
You know what I mean by
yes,
that? You
yes.
know, because we're talking, 20 years ago.
Right.
You know, and you didn't have YouTube, you didn't have DVDs, you didn't have that kind of media.
Right.
So the only thing you had was what was in your head from what you saw of the concert last week.
Right.
You know, so you're back home with your drums going, I think he did something like this, and he did, but he really didn't.
So you're actually in your mind. So in your mind, you're like 52 other drummers, right? When you're up there, and that's why you're all over the place. But you're so awesome. You're dead on.
That's tough because I still don't think that I have at all.
Well, YouTube you certainly have, and you've 7 million.
Well,
7 million
things
hits.
are certainly going better.
And you also have there's a lot of you have your sticks. See these sticks? They have his name on them. I think he's going to give me a pair of these drumsticks. So not a pair, but maybe he'll give me one of them.
Yeah.
But anyway, I have a big collection. It used to be my kids, and then he decided that he wanted to be an artist and draw instead of being an artist and being a drummer. I think that's great.
Cool.
And so he's like, Mom, you can have the, because you've gone to a lot of the concerts and you've gotten the sticks and stuff. And I'm like, Chris, man, you know.
Very cool.
But anyway, but they're the families. That's the way I look at it. So we've got some great people in there. So anyway, let's see what else. Do you remember your first actual gig?
Oh yeah. The first one was like most people, just a typical talent show in junior high. And I'm sure it was terrible. It was just me and my friend. And when we wrote some original. I couldn't even tell you the name of it or anything.
Right.
But it was just me and a guy on guitar. And then we had some guy on bass that pretty much just rode the E string the whole time. We were terrible, but it was a blast though. You know what I mean?
Funny.
Everybody stood up and screamed. And
That's
he was like,
great.
well, that's it.
That's awesome.
Simple enough.
Well, I don't want to take up too much time and take up too much of your time because I know you need to get out there. But Steve Moore, I really appreciate it, and thank you so much. You rock, man.
I appreciate it.
You
Thank
rock.
you.
Thank you. Thomas Pridgen and Tony Coleman, and we've got some questions for you guys.
All right, go
Okay.
ahead. Go.
Somebody want to hold those?
Okay, I'll hold it right here.
Cool. Thanks. Okay. TC.
Yes.
How old were you when you first started playing drums?
I was about 4 weeks old. I was an embryo.
You're like,
You snorted.
Let me get out of here. No, seriously. How old were you when you first started?
Seriously, I can't remember not ever not playing drums. Seriously.
There you go. Right on.
I mean,
And
when
how
I was,
about you?
From my knowledge, I was 3 years old, but I was banging on pots and pans and going to Nordstrom's and taking a stick out the shoe
Sweet.
since I was a little kid too, a little baby.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Very cool. And were you in the band in
No,
school?
never.
No?
No.
No. You just
Don't
kind of
read
had
music, never learned.
How did you learn?
I just
How to
always
play?
knew how to play. My father created a dance called the Mashed Potatoes with James Brown, so when I was a little kid, I was always around music.
Oh, okay.
I always knew I wanted to be a drummer, always.
Right.
Nothing else. That's the only way I ever made a living.
Right. Very cool. That's cool. And how about you?
I was in the school band. I was in the middle school band, and I got kicked out because I kept tuning the drums right. And then I was in the high school band, and yeah, I was totally the freshman playing with all the seniors.
Perfect. I love it. And you were in the band. Was it geeky or cool to be in the band?
It depends if you were geeky or cool, and I was cool, so I guess I was the cool part of the band.
And do you remember your first actual gig, Tony?
Yes.
What was your first actual gig?
My first gig was a band that I used to bug the hell out of. They were like a 15-piece band with 2 drummers, percussion, 6 horns, singers, big like a James Brown review band. I used to bug the hell out of them. They see me come in and they say, "Oh, here he comes, let's go." And then the one drummer was too drunk to play, and they asked me, "Kid, get up here and play. We know you can play." And then I got up there and I was like all nervous and stuff. And then they took me outside and started cursing at me. "God dang it, if you don't get up there and play those dance, you've been watching it." Then I went up there and I was like, "Okay." And then it was like, "Yeah, right on."
I love it. That's a great story. And how about you?
I think my first actual gig was in church, which is not really a gig.
Yeah,
I just
that's
grew
a
up.
big gig.
I grew up
is,
playing in
man.
church, and I don't know. I guess I honestly started playing in the choir for real when I was like 6 years old, because they didn't want to
Wow.
let me play ever.
Wow. Whoa. And when did you feel like you hit rock star status? Who have you played with?
I've been playing with the Mars Volta,
Awesome.
and I think I don't know what rock star status is, but I felt like rock star status when I was playing in church.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
6
cool,
years old.
man. That's cool. That's good. And how about you?
Well, see, here's the deal. When I had some boxes and my grandmother who raised me, her pots and pans, and the neighborhood would come around and watch me play on them, I thought I was a rock star. I was like, I'm so cool. They watching me play
That's
some
awesome.
pots.
Yeah, that is tight.
That's perfect. Good deal. So thank you guys.
Thanks,
Really
thanks.
appreciate
Thank
it. You
you.
got anything you want to say? What's
Yeah.
next for you guys?
For me, I got my own band called The Memorials. We got a website, thememorialsmusic.com. We're on Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, all that. And our album comes out January 18th. It's
Nice.
self-entitled. It's 13 songs. We recorded all the songs in a week. And we wrote the whole record in a week. And it comes out January 18th. And I'm really excited because I basically did most of everything having to do with the art and creation of it. And I'm basically steamboating it, so I'm excited.
Wow. I'd love to review your CD
Oh, cool.
for you.
For sure. I gotta get your
Definitely. Cool.
Well, I'm just still riding with the king, and I'm gonna ride with him until the wheels go flat. So,
Sweet. Yeah.
but in the meantime, I'm doing the Tony Coleman band, and just being around these drummers, it's an inspiration. Just sit here next to Thomas makes me feel like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is what it's all about.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
it's a great feeling.
Well, on that note, I'm going to let you guys go ahead and get on out there.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And
He said you snorted.
these guys are crazy.
Cool.